What's up, guys? In today's video, I want to go over something very important for the altcoins that you should be aware of and definitely more informed on, especially heading into this bull cycle when altcoin season takes place, especially if you're allocating funds to buy crypto, whether it's new positions, dollar cost averaging into previous positions, swapping positions, or evaluating current bags, and that's tokenomics. Tokenomics is a very complex thing within crypto, especially if you're a beginner investor. It can get a little overwhelming to hear things like dilution and market cap and full diluted market cap and the inflation, lack thereof, a finite supply, so on and so forth, right? But even if you're an experienced investor who has made mistakes before, which if you haven't made a mistake before as an experienced investor, you're either loaded and rich or too lying. It's one of the two. We're going to get into it, right? So tokenomics, and we'll get some examples too. It's the inflation or lack thereof of the token or coin in question, right? So before we get into specific crypto, I want to show you guys an example. So over here in my hand, I have 4 quarters. Okay. Now we know a quarter is worth 25 cents. Let's say I have a crypto and this is it, right? And I want to put just 1 quarter in what's called circulation, meaning that you can buy it, I can buy it. So we'll put it here on the side. And these 3 quarters are mine. I'm going to hold it. Maybe I use it for a period of time to just hold it to later sell, or I'm going to use it for marketing to market the crypto, whether it's exchange listings, partnerships are very common, or maybe it's community incentives, maybe it's for VCs who invest into me, venture capitalists who are helping to market the crypto, whatever the reason may be, right? When it comes to a crypto project you're looking to invest into, you want to find out to what extent is it locked up, how long is it going to be locked up for, and what's the incentive for it? Is it just to later dump in the market? Is it for marketing? Is it for partnerships? Is it just VCs that are going to later dump? It's all very important, right? And also, to what extent is it locked up? So in this case, you have 75% locked up, right? Because we know 4 quarters is $1. Well, I guess in this case, we'll say, whatever, $1 each one. But we know 3 quarters or 3/4 of the whole thing is in my hand. It's locked up, which means at some point, let's just say in 6 months, I take another quarter and I put it in circulation. And let's say now the market's been just flat. It's not really bullish, not really bearish, kind of in between, the in between stage. And the price of the token, I don't know, the coin's like $5. Because now we have the same interest in the market and I'm putting more out there in circulation, it's diluting the price. It's worth the same, but now you have more of it out there to buy, which drops the price. Think of it like this, right? A little easier. Say this thing is worth $10,000 and there's only one in the world and I have it. This is very valuable from a supply and demand standpoint because this is only one in the world, right? I put it out there, and as soon as, like, say you and 20 people buy it, they're going to buy what's called a fractional share of it, because obviously if one person bought the whole thing, that's it. There's no more to buy. And over time, the supply and demand will push the price up because it's scarce. If I deem it to be valuable enough for you to buy it, right? Again, it comes down to marketing, the utility. If I say this is a blockchain on steroids and it's going to transform Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. And if I market this to you and you believe it, and 100 of you believe it, you're all going to want to buy this, which because there's only one in circulation, it's going to be to the upside. But going back to what I just previously described, we put 2 quarters now in circulation. I have half locked up. And now if the market is the same, or even if it's a little bullish or bearish, it's going to drop the price because the utility hasn't changed and there's more of it in circulation. So people are going to be like, okay, it's not worth as much. Now we have 2 to buy instead of 1 to buy, and it just drops the price naturally. That is dilution. I am diluting 25% more. Okay. And it could be, again, it could be for a partnership. It could be for a community incentive. It could be for an exchange listing. It can be for, I don't know, ongoing another token project. It can be for just VCs who who got in very early to push it and they want to take profits, right? So a lot of reasons. But let's just say now, which is very common for meme coins that are launched on Pump Fund, they dilute everything. What this does is it makes the supply more decentralized, because now that everything is in circulation, all four of these quarters, me as the team, I can't manipulate the price. I can't just say, hey, I'm going to start selling it, drop the price, and then go and buy it back when you guys panic sell. It's all out there in circulation, meaning you can buy it. I can buy it back if I want to as a dev. Anyone can buy it. It's free for the public. Not free, but you know what I mean. It's available to the public. Versus if I put one out there and I have three, and let's just say it's not locked up, I'm just holding it myself as a 75% allocation. Pretty sweet, right? And I want to say, that's it. Time to run away. I can run away with the 3/4, and then you guys are left holding this. And that's why you see rug pulls typically happen. It's usually, I mean, for many reasons, not just tokenomics, it's also a non-renounced contract, or in this case, an open contract where they can change it. So in that case, not to get too deep in this topic, but just so you know and are informed, if I have a non-renounced contract, I can add, say, 10 more of these to circulation, 100 of these, 1,000 of these, and it makes the project seem less valuable because now you have more supply out there in circulation. So when it comes to choosing a project now, you want to have a healthy balance of tokenomics. You want to have, a lot of these things play into factor with the utility too. Like if they have a good, well thought out lockup schedule, then you can address this accordingly and make your moves accordingly. But the reason why memes oftentimes get launched with full supply and circulation is because memes don't have utility. So there's no incentive aside from community and hype. So how do you get hype for a meme coin? You say, hey guys, it's all in circulation. So you guys can all buy it. I can't dump on it. The contract's pronounced, so I literally cannot pull this out of circulation and rug you guys. Hence why people are drawn to, meme coins that are oftentimes fully diluted. Okay, but then you have coins like, for example, Trump. I didn't actually read what the lockup schedule was, but I do know the first one coming is 36% to be diluted, meaning they have 20% in circulation right now. They're going to add 36%, I believe, around March, 3 months. And they have their reasons why they're going to dilute it, where it's going, right? So again, this comes down to the project, the team, the founder, what their plans are for that crypto. So every crypto is different. We're not comparing a meme coin that has 50% dilution to say, I don't know, pick your layer one that doesn't have much dilution, right? Every coin's different. Their strengths are different. The weaknesses are different. Their marketing can be different. But when it comes to tokenomics, you preferably want to get a more diluted market cap. Diluted means putting these out there, right? So when we YouTubers say full dilution, whether it means fully diluted market cap or them diluting the supply, that is them literally taking all the supply and putting it out there, or in the process of putting it out there. So full dilution means 100% of the supply is in circulation. And then if you have a token or a coin that is not finite, meaning a fixed supply, and let's just say it's inflationary, which is very common for layer ones, i.e. Solana, Ethereum, then that's a whole different thing, right? That's just over time. You're going to keep, getting more of a supply, which damages the price action a little bit. But when you're talking about the strength of a coin like Ethereum, like Solana, it's not going to do it, affect it too much. And plus, a lot of these layer ones oftentimes have mechanism places where it burns the supply over time. Like Ethereum has their EIP 1559 upgrade, and then Solana, that one doesn't have any burns yet, but it probably will at some point. You just see some mechanisms in place that do burn a supply over time. And then you got staking features, like, for example, let's just say you buy Solana, which right now Solana on Coinbase gives you about like 7% yield. Let's say you buy some Solana, you put 2/4 in, and it has no dilution, which Solana doesn't. Over time, you start getting maybe a quarter after like 6 months to a year, right? Because as Solana inflation increases, they reward people who stake, which often turns, secures the network, right? So there's many different factors into this. I can probably talk for hours on these topics. The key for you as an investor who's just looking at these plays, which we'll get into examples again, I promised you, is just be aware of it and have some guidelines as to how to evaluate it, right? There's been plenty of cryptos that I've seen and even one that I was burned on before, where I'll pull it up in a minute, like say, where the dilution was, it was written, but it wasn't as predictable as to where the price can go. It went from the low 20-cent range all the way to $1.15, and then it round trip right back to the 20-cent range again, right? So again, it's very nerve wracking. If you're not aware of this, you got to understand why dilution takes place. Again, there's many reasons, even more than I described in this video. I'm just giving you guys surface level stuff so you can take it one step further and be a little more educated, right? But now let's get into some examples first. Uh, let's pull up coin market cap, and then I'll show you guys what I mean. So I'll pull up Say. Say's a good example. We'll see if it got diluted from when we were into it. Perfect. So when we got into Say a long time ago, it had less than 25% circulating supply, meaning it had around 2.5 billion in circulation. Now, if you're watching this video, they diluted a little over 2 billion more. What does that mean? They put more of these quarters in circulation, which dropped the price. And you can see it here. When you click the year chart, it's on a downtrend. When you click the old chart, you can see it right when we got it around this price point. Well, up here rather, 20-cent range. They went to $1.15. And as soon as the unlock started taking place, boom, in a downtrend, right? So now this is not a bad crypto by any means. Probably a good entry now because it reversed, right? It's diluting and it's at a good price point to accumulate. But here's an example of a crypto where it had very low dilution here, in here, and then over time. I know in August was one of the first big ones. And if you find August, this is at the low point of where it was, which is 24 cents again. It round tripped from here. You see how that works? Another popular crypto that has inflation is Sui. So Sui has yet to experience what Say did. Eventually it will. So Sui has 3 billion in circulation, right? 30% out of their 10 billion supply. So they're going to eventually dilute 70%. Now, I'm not familiar with Sui's unlock schedule, but I do know over time they will unlock it, whether, again, it's marketing, community incentives for the blockchain, whatever, partnerships. You click the year chart, this one's been on a rip. You click the old chart, same thing, a rip. But eventually it's going to come down like Say. I'm not saying to the same extent, but it will. It depends, though, when this happens, right? This very well could happen end of bull cycle, which that just means in a bear market, you're going to see a huge dip down, like 90%, 80, 90%. But if their unlock schedule is good and it's better than Say, and it doesn't get released till say next year, you're not going to see as big of a dump, right? So a lot of this comes down to not just how much dilution they have, but when is it going to come out of circulation? That's one of the big questions to ask yourself, right? So I hope this opens up your eyes a little bit. And then when you have a crypto like, let's pull up, I don't know, Pepe, for example. So Pepe is fully diluted. Ready? 420, give or take, trillion total supply, circulating supply. What does this mean? When you check the chart out, which this chart's very bullish, there's no utility. So obviously no one's looking at Pepe and thinking it's gonna, be the best blockchain. It's a freaking Ethereum token, it's a fraud, right? But where this is good for Pepe, because it's in circulation, whatever the team was holding before they diluted is the only selling pressure you're going to see from the team. They can't do what's called price manipulate, whereas they're holding like say 80% and they want to take a few $1,000,000 profit. Every time they do that, you're going to see a drop in price. It goes up and it drops and drops and drops. So Pepe having it fully diluted, 100% circulation, it's better from a price appreciation standpoint. Another example for a meme coin, Turbo, which Turbo, when I first got in, it was around 93% circulating. They now are fully diluted with 100 billion. So in the short term, it looks like this, because when you dilute, you see a dip. Now, this is more than just dilution. This is also people front running Trump and chasing Trump, because a lot of Ethereum memes are down, including Pepe and Floki and Shiba Inu and everything else, including with a Solana one. So a lot of meme coins are down. But look at Turbo's chart, same thing as Pepe, right? There's less selling pressure now because there's 100% in circulation. It's very key for a meme coin because meme coins already don't have utility. I mean, people say Turbo does. I just call it a meme coin. I'm not here to say Turbo doesn't have utility, but to me, it's whatever. It's just a bonus at this point. Meme coins need the incentive for people to buy it. If they don't have an incentive, people will just move on from it. So again, that's why it's important. But when you come back to a crypto, we use Bitcoin 2 as an example. This one's proof of work. So it's not an unlock, it's people mining it over time. There's a mining schedule. And when you have the Bitcoin halving every 4 years, it gives the miners, it cuts their rewards in half, meaning they have to work harder and longer to get that same Bitcoin rewards they were getting prior. So from a proof of work standpoint, when it comes to dilution, it's an emission schedule. That's what it's called. And it's a little different than like proof of stake where it comes out of thin air and someone is actually holding it. In this case, it just takes time and it works more on a time schedule that's easier to predict and see take place in the market. So I don't know if this video was informative enough to help you. I hope it did. I really want to break it down in raw terms to make it easy to understand. If you guys have any questions, I can definitely make a part 2 to this to better clarify, but I know these are questions that a lot of beginners have, and you'd be surprised how many experienced investors don't know this. They find a crypto that looks great on paper, and then they don't see the tokenomics of it, and they go, "Great, I'm gonna jump in." Then all of a sudden, it goes, "Yep, yeah," down to the graveyard. So it's very important because again, every proof of stake crypto that has an unlock schedule, it's someone holding it, right? And I'm not saying they're all malicious. A lot of them aren't. They're just doing it for different reasons, or they have VCs, venture capitalists behind it who are funding them to market, or they have community incentives, partnerships, exchange listings for you to buy it. Some are malicious. Some are probably just holding it for the purpose of straight up just dumping on you. It does happen, especially a lot with memes. But the key for you is to recognize, what it is, to what extent it is, why it's like that, and what the time schedule is for those unlocks to take place, and whether for you to make your move to go in or stay away or get out. I hope this video helped you. If it did in any way, please leave a like, really helps so much. And if you want to reach out to me, talk to me, see my next trade alert, see my profit taking course, research course, join in on the VIP Q&A live streams. We do them every single week. Or be part of a group of beginner investors who want to become financially free, or experienced investors who can help guide you through this bull cycle, then I encourage you to join my Discord. It's a small investment that can pay dividends if you do it right, and you can be well on your way to financial freedom. With that being said, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.